Welcome to another episode of the latest with Maya. Today, I am so honored and excited to have a conversation with Simon Sinek. Simon is an author, a podcaster, a motivational speaker, and an influential and inspirational thought leader on business leadership. Thank you so much for being on my show. I'm so excited to be talking with you.
Thanks for having me, and I appreciate the kind words.
Huh, so let's get started. So my first question for you is, of all that you have accomplished so far, is there something you are most proud of?
Oh, that's a good question. It's very funny the way I view my career is I think of it like an iceberg, which is when I was just getting started, I was the only one who could see sort of what was beneath the ocean. It was a sort of lived in my imagination of what I wanted to achieve in the world, and other people couldn't see it. And so I had to try and talk about it, and some people would see a little bit of it. And if I accomplished a little bit of iceberg would pop up and they go, "Oh, I see what you're trying to do." And every time somebody would say, "Wow, it's amazing what you've accomplished," I would always say, "Tip of the iceberg." Because other people can see what's above the ocean, but I still
Yeah,
look beneath the ocean. And so it's really funny when you ask the question, because I never think to look at what's above the ocean. I'm always so focused on what's beneath the ocean and how much more work I have to do.
mm,
But if pressed, what am I most proud of? You know, I'm really, really proud of the fact that the concept of why, where we use the idea of a why, like what's your why, what's that company's why, that is a noun.
yeah,
It's a thing in our vernacular, and a lot of people don't even know that before I started talking about it or wrote my book that the concept of why wasn't used that way. And I like that. I don't need people to know where it comes from, but I like that my ideas that the momentum is building for the world that I imagine, that so much so that the language has been fully adopted. That's kind of an amazing feeling, to be honest, and something I never expected.
yeah. Oh, I love that. Yeah. Um, So, who in your life has had the biggest impact on how you choose to live?
How I choose to live. That's such a, most people ask me how I choose to lead. That's a great question. So
Yeah.
my grandfather was very influential on me. He was, I think, misunderstood. He was kind of an odd guy. He sort of marched to the beat of his own drum, a bit of an eccentric. Um, and uh, I guess he was the first person and one of the most important people in my life who basically taught me that you can live the life you want to live. As long as you're happy and you don't hurt other people, you don't have to conform or contort yourself to live in a way that other people want you to. Live the way you want to. Even if people don't understand you, as long as you're not hurting them, it's fine.
Yeah.
And he really, from a pretty young age, gave me the confidence to be a little bit different.
Yeah. Oh, that's amazing. I love that. Yeah. So is there a quote or a talk of yours that you have been surprised has resonated with so many people?
So I've been surprised every time one of my talks or quotes uh, went viral. You know, I think this is the thing about viral content is you can't predict when it's going to happen, uh, and nobody really knows which ones take off and which ones don't. You know, um, and so things that I thought that would be viral didn't take off, and things that I never thought was going to be the thing they did. So, I was surprised when the millennials in the workplace went completely nuts. It had 80 million views in 1 week, which
Wow.
is just, it's nuts. I mean, it's a silly number, right?
Yeah.
But I didn't expect it. I didn't see it, and I didn't even plan it. I wasn't even the one who posted it.
Yeah.
It went viral on somebody else's Facebook page, which makes it even funnier.
Yeah.
Uh, um, y- you know, I understand after the fact why they did, because they resonated, and a lot of the stuff was very human in the answers that I gave. But but yeah, it's hard to say which I'm proudest of or which I expected. I sort of it's like I just love the fact that occasionally the ideas sort of pop and that they get out there. So all
Yeah.
of my work is very consistent. It's all about how we treat each other. It's
Yeah.
all about the fact that we live together. So which idea pops and which idea doesn't, like it's okay because it's all connected.
Mm, yeah. Um, so how do you stay motivated even on days you aren't feeling it?
Well, on days I'm not feeling it, I'm not feeling it. And I think that there's a disservice we do to ourselves when we say, "Oh, I'm not feeling it today. How do I get motivated?" And I used to be that way. And now I'm just sort of more accepting that to be a human means you have a range of emotions in a life or in a day sometimes. You have highs, you have lows, you have happy, you have sad, you have sympathy, and you have anger. I mean, we have all these feelings. And as long as you don't get stuck in one of those, it's all fine and healthy. So if I have a day that I'm unmotivated, then I'm just unmotivated. And somebody says, "How are you?" And I go, I'm not motivated today."
Mm,
I don't have any tricks to get motivated when I'm unmotivated. It just sometimes it's, I
yeah.
had a bad night's sleep or something's on my mind. It'll pass. So I
Yeah.
forgive myself and I don't put too much pressure on myself that I have to be motivated every moment of every day because I'm not.
Yeah. 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 So what three words do you think best describe you?
Uh, I mean, there's a difference in how I would describe myself and how other people would describe me, right? Um, but the three words that I like, let's start there. I don't know if I can describe myself, but three words that I like. I love the word inspiring. It makes me happy. It's a standard I try and live to. I
Yeah.
work towards it. I like the word weird. You
Yeah.
know,
Mm.
my favorite Muppet was Gonzo,
Oh,
and
yeah.
Miss Piggy was a pig, Kermit was a frog, Fozzie was a bear, and Gonzo was a weirdo. That's literally how they described him.
Yeah.
And from a very young age, I'm like, yeah, I'm more like Gonzo than anybody else.
Yeah.
I resonated with Gonzo.
Yeah.
And he kind of did his own thing. He was a part of the group and they loved him and he's one of their friends. But at the same time, he's always off doing things by himself, pushing
Yeah.
boundaries and being experimental. That's me.
Yeah.
I'm very much a weirdo and sort of like off doing things. And the third word I would say is it's a I'm very like service and integrity sort of all matter to me a lot.
Yeah.
I hold myself to a very high standard and which is hard and I often falter and fail. I often fall down, but I think to strive to do the right thing, um, I work very hard to do that. I don't know what word I would use to describe that, but maybe service oriented.
Yeah. Oh, I love that. Yeah. Yeah, and as you were, yeah, describing the Muppets, I think I've never thought of it. I think I'm most like Gonzo too.
I love it. We and I think, I think when people like us meet each other, it's kind of
Yeah.
like a nudge and a wink, like I get you and you get me, you
Yeah.
know. Uh,
Yeah.
uh, it's whenever you meet people who are comfortable being like Gonzo, who relate with Gonzo, I think it's very important that we all help each other,
Yeah.
because I think people very often don't understand us, don't know what to do with us. We don't fit neatly into any kind of box or description. And
Yeah.
so, which is both a blessing and a curse. I think all weirdos love that they don't fit in
Yes.
and all wish that they fit in. We
Yeah.
all want to belong, but we also like that we don't belong.
Yeah.
And we live with this strange dichotomy. And so I think when we meet each other, the rule is you got to help each other.
Yeah. Definitely. Yeah. So I am pop culture obsessed and go in stages of different shows that I cannot stop watching. Is there a show that you are currently obsessed with?
There are two shows that literally, when it's out of season, I cannot wait for the new season, and I always regret finishing the season because it means I'm out of episodes.
Mm, yeah.
One is Clarkson's Farm, which is some of the best television ever made, ever, 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 ever. I love Clarkson's Farm, and the other one is the Great British Baking Show, the Great
Oh,
British Bake Off.
yeah.
Uh, if you've never seen the Great British Baking Show, it's a cooking competition,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
And unlike other television competitions, they help each other.
Yeah.
And
Mm,
even though there are winners and losers, every week somebody gets thrown off the show, and every week somebody is declared, uh, 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 star baker. You come in first, and there is going to be a winner of the whole season. They still help each other. And I
yeah.
think it's such a great metaphor for what life should be like, which is you can compete and you can strive to be the best and you can strive to be the first and you can help each other along the way.
Yeah.
And I kind of like that. It's for
Yeah.
me, it's the metaphor. The Great British Baking Show is a metaphor for how I imagine perfect life to be.
Yeah. Oh, I love that. Yeah, I haven't heard of the first show that you
Oh,
mentioned.
Clarkson's Farm.
Yeah. I'm gonna have to look that up.
Oh, you have to watch it. Yeah, it's on Amazon Prime, and start with the first season. It's a very,
Yeah.
it's a very special show.
Oh, cool. Yeah. Yeah, I'm excited to try it. Yeah, the shows I just have a whole bunch of shows that are like some of my all-time favorites, and I like rotate between all of them, and right now it's all White Collar and Royal Pains.
Oh, I don't know either of those. What's White Collar about?
Good. Yeah, White Collar is with Matt Bomer, and it's about a con man who starts working with the FBI in the white collar unit.
Oh, that sounds
Um,
good.
yeah, it's so good. Yeah, I love that show, so I could talk about it for forever.
Oh, I like the topic. I like sort of
Yeah,
FBI type things.
yeah.
What was the other one?
Royal Pains.
Royal Pains. What's that one? I don't
Yeah.
know that one either.
That's about a doctor in New York who gets fired. So then he and his brother move to the Hamptons and start a concierge medical practice there.
And hilarity ensues.
Yeah, both White Collar and Royal Pains mix the comedy and drama very well.
Well, I'll check it out. Thanks for the recommendations.
Yeah. Yeah, I'd love to know what you think. I Those are some of my favorite shows.
Good to know. Yeah, I'll check them out. I appreciate it.
Yeah. And thank you for your recommendation.
Yeah, let me know what you think.
Yeah, I will. Yeah. Um, so if you had a warning label, what would yours say?
Oh my God, your questions are so good.
Thank you.
If I came up with a warning label, uh, I would say uh, don't pay attention to me before 9 o'clock.
Oh.
I am not a morning person.
Mm.
And so I can be a little bit grumpy in the morning. Uh, probably like ignore me in the morning is probably is a good one. Um, and I think the other one, oh my God, this is not good. When you ask me a question for one warning label, and I want to give you like a list of warning labels. I think another one would be uh, don't listen to everything I say.
Mm.
'Cause I think out loud,
Oh,
and
yeah.
so sometimes people hear me processing an idea, but I haven't come to a conclusion yet. So
Yeah.
so I think like yeah, ignore me is probably a good one.
I like those.
Ignore me, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Um, What is something people are always surprised to learn about you?
I think people are often surprised to find out that I don't. I think the number one thing is people think that I've read every book. They think that I read voraciously. And the reality is, I actually struggle to read. I have pretty bad ADHD, and my whole life I've actually struggled to read books. You know, I like to joke that I've written more books than I've read, which is actually true. Um, and so I don't read as much as people think that I do. I learn other ways. The good news is I figured out how I learn, and I learn from conversations.
Yeah.
And even if I could read better than I did, I don't take it in very well.
Mm.
So I think people are very, very surprised that I don't read much.
Oh,
I read a lot of articles. I read the newspaper, but books I struggle with.
yeah. I can definitely relate to that because I start books and then don't finish them because I just get like sidetracked. And there's one I'm reading right now that I love, but I can only read a couple pages at a time before I stop paying attention.
I mean, you're preaching. That's my life. I'm like, when people said, "Oh my God, I couldn't put it down," I was like, I bet I could. Like, I've never met a book I couldn't put down.
Yeah.
The one book I read cover to cover, if you haven't read it, was The Da Vinci Code
Oh, yeah,
by
I
Dan
have.
Brown. And it was the only book in my life that I was so obsessed with. Like I remember I was at a conference and like they had a break, like a coffee break, and I literally like snuck up to my hotel room to read a few pages, then come back down.
Oh,
Like I couldn't
God.
stop reading this book.
Yeah.
And it was all done in little short little chapters, which made it super easy.
Oh,
So that one was the one book that really like sucked me in.
oh, cool. I love that. Um, so do you have any irrational fears?
I think most of our fears are irrational, right? Uh, I fear. I don't. Yes, I fear uh like whenever I'm a place where there's a lot of bugs,
Mm,
I'm getting malaria. I'm getting yellow fever. Like I'm convinced that like the one mosquito with malaria is going to bite me.
mm,
So yes,
yeah,
uh, I don't like getting. I don't want to. I'm paranoid about the sun and like skin cancer and like getting
mm.
sun. It's not even skin cancer, it's getting sunburned. But what other irrational fears do I have? Um, yeah, I mean, I have my little funny, little quirky, little paranoias.
Mm,
Yeah.
yeah. Yeah. I'm the same way. I feel like I always joke that my brain is like one big irrational fear. Um, because I have so many, and my mom and my sister always have to tell me that's not going to happen. That's totally irrational.
And we always say the same thing. Well, you don't know that.
Yeah. I'm always like, well, could.
Exactly. The possibility exists.
Yeah. They're like, well, it's highly unlikely that it will.
That's true. Yeah.
So,
And I know the statistics, but then it wouldn't be an irrational fear, wouldn't it?
yeah. Exactly. Um, is there a song that whenever you hear it always makes you emotional?
Um, yes. Now let's describe the emotion, right?
Yeah.
Um, which is the my favorite songs that make me emotional, like make me well up, not with sadness or anything like that, but like with
Yeah.
like I get lost in the song, like I well up with sort of like a passion and I go super meditative or super present, you know? I have a few of those. I mean, I'm going to sound really nerdy now, but there's a couple of movements from an opera by Philip Glass called Satyagraha that get me every time. There's the organ symphony by Saint-Saëns, like it gets me every time. Like I know I'm sounding super nerdy. The Eurythmic Sweet Dreams,
Yeah.
every time it comes on, like it's an instant nostalgia for me. Uh, I love that song. So for me, it's like connecting those songs to memories or feelings, um, and I can get completely and utterly lost. Yeah.
Oh, I love that. Yeah, I have Yeah, definitely though. Yeah, those songs that any Ben Platt song like makes me I just get so lost in the music. And either I will just be sobbing through the whole thing or like singing along. It's whatever I'm feeling in the moment. And
He's so talented.
yeah, he
Did
is.
you have you met him yet?
Not yet. I've always wanted to.
Okay, well, we need to make that happen, don't we? The I saw Dear Evan Hansen on Broadway in New York in the early days when it first came on when he was still in it.
Oh
So
wow.
I got to see Dear Evan Hansen with Ben Platt, and it was he was unbelievable, and a talent like rarely I've seen.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, that's so cool. I always wanted to, yeah, see him in that. I finally just I've always said like I want to see him live one day. I'm going to see him live. My family and I just recently saw him in concert, which was like the coolest thing ever. And I just kept pointing to the stage, being like, "Oh my God, he's right there." And I was basically just like crying through the whole thing. I couldn't
I
believe
love that.
I was actually seeing him.
What do people call what do Ben Platt fans call it? So if Taylor Swift fans are Swifties and Justin Bieber fans are Beliebers, what's a Ben are you what's a Ben Platt fan? Are you Platties?
Yeah,
Platypuses? Like what's a
yeah, yes. I my mom actually came up with the name for Ben Platt fans. She calls the like she calls him like Ben Platypie or like
perfect?
yeah. So it's yeah.
Is it platypi or platypuses? I actually don't know what the plural of it is.
Me either. Yeah, me either. I thought it was
Yeah, I don't. I have no
Spotify,
clue.
but
Platypi, platypuses. I don't know. That's a good
yeah,
one. We'll have to look that one up.
yeah. Well, yeah. So, yeah, my mom and my sister told me they were like watching him and then also just watching me watch him.
Oh,
'Cause
that's the
I
best.
just the minute he walked on stage, I just started crying.
I don't think I have. I'm trying to think if I've ever been such a fan of someone that the minute they show up, I like become emotional. I mean, George Lucas is probably the closest thing. I'm a big Star Wars fan.
Yeah. Oh, cool. Yeah, I love that. Yeah, he's the yeah, first yeah, concert that we've been to that like that actually happened to me that I was just crying the minute he walked on stage. Um,
What is it about him or his music or his talent that has you think such a powerful impact on you the minute you see him even before you even start singing?
um just like what it means to me, like I don't know, his like shows and movies that he's done have and his music has helped me through like all my through my medical journey. It's always been like his shows, his movies are on all the time, his music is and it's also helped me process a lot of things, so
So
it's
he's been with you on your journey.
yeah,
Oh, that makes sense the why it would be so personal then.
yeah.
Oh, that's nice. Thanks for sharing.
Yeah. Thank you for yeah, letting me. Yeah. So what small things bring you joy on a daily basis?
Oh, okay. So this one's easy because one of the reasons I'm such a happy person is because I find joy in little things. Like I don't need big, expensive or grandiose anything. I find joy in very, very little and silly things. You know, um, um, it could be literally my cat sitting on the end of my bed in the morning. You know, he's sometimes at the end of my bed and he's sometimes not. But when he's there, I'm in a good mood. Like
Yeah.
to have that little guy come and meet me in the morning
Yeah.
is the best, you know? Um, I love seeing my niece and nephew and the jokes that they play on me or their sense of humor. Like, like every time I go and have dinner with them and I leave my sister's house, I literally will stand outside the front door. I've closed the door. I'm like leaving to walk to my car, and I'll stand there for just a second and just sort of take in that wonderful feeling of being near those magical little kids.
Mm,
Like just joy in family dinner. Like I
yeah,
love when the family comes together for dinner. I would rather be quiet and boring and watch TV with somebody I love next to me, you know,
yeah,
a friend or a family member or somebody I'm dating, like, you know, to just share mundane things with. The unbelievable joy of like sitting next to someone to do something that would be considered boring.
yeah,
Just I find tremendous joy in these little things almost
yeah.
daily.
Yeah. Oh, I love that. Yeah, I love yeah, finding joy in the small things and like just people that you just always want to be around.
Did you ever see the movie Amelie?
I didn't.
Okay, so it's a French movie and it's pretty old. And in the one of the opening scenes, they show all the main characters doing these things that they love, like silly, weird, quirky things. Like they show the mother taking everything out of her handbag and vacuuming all the dust out of her handbag and putting everything back in, like how she loves sort of organizing her handbag, you know? And I think
Yeah.
it's so fun to imagine that if they made that movie and you were one of the opening characters, what would be
Yeah.
the two or three little quirky little things that you get such joy from? I've always thought about that. Like, how would they portray me with the quirky little things that I find silly and
Yeah.
joyful?
Yeah. Oh, I love that. Yeah. So do you have a go-to comfort show or movie?
I do. I do. So, one movie, and that I can watch over and over and over and over and over and over again. I have a couple. One is Elizabeth with Kate Blanchett.
Yeah.
I've seen that movie so many times. It's like if I can't find anything to watch, I'll put it on. It's just so good. I love it.
Yeah.
I've seen it so many times. The other one is Hunt for Red October. I know, weird. Um, Indiana Jones, uh, the first one and the third one primarily. Star Wars, the episodes 4, 5, 6, uh, and Rogue One primarily. Um, but I can go back and watch them over and over and over and over again. Like it's all good. And
Yeah.
I think they're all what they all have in common is like they're all pretty old. I think they take me back to, they're all sort of childhood movies. They're
Yeah.
simple to watch. They're great simple stories. They're sort of heroes' journeys, except Elizabeth. She's just a badass.
Yeah. I love that. Yeah, I have so many, or I have a few go-to that I just rotate between.
Like what?
And well, movies are usually I have a few that just immediately come to mind, and that's Shazam, um, a movie called Home Again, The Prom, and then there's Theater Camp and Broken Diamonds.
Okay, I know one of those movies. I know Shazam's a lot of fun.
Yeah.
Shazam's a lot of fun. I like that one. The other
Yeah.
ones I've never even heard of.
Home Again is a rom-com with Reese Witherspoon.
Oh, okay. I
And
love Reese Witherspoon. I think she's insanely talented.
yeah, she is. And this movie is so good. I'm just obsessed with it. I've seen it so many times.
You and my sister, you both love rom-coms.
Yeah, I mean they're just so much fun. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, they're okay.
I love them. Yeah. And then The Prom is a Netflix movie. It's a musical comedy based
Uh-huh.
on the Broadway show.
Okay. Oh,
Um,
so you like theater type stuff.
yes, I do.
Ben Platt, The Prom, Broadway shows. I
Yeah.
got you. I know what your personality type is.
Yeah. Um, yeah, and then a theater camp is with Ben Platt, and it's a mockumentary. And it's very funny. It's a mockumentary about a theater camp that's in danger of shutting down and them trying to save it, and it's just hilarious. um, and then Broken Diamonds is also with Ben Platt, and it's a dramedy about him and his it's his character and his sister who his sister has schizophrenia, and it's a relation or a movie about their relationship, kind of dealing with this tragedy that happens, and it's really good.
I probably won't get to the rom-coms, but I like that mockumentary one. That sounds like fun.
Yeah, it's very fun. Yeah, I oh, and then Barbie's another one.
Oh,
I
that's a
love
lot of
that
fun.
movie.
Yeah. Yeah, that's a
Yeah,
lot of fun. But
yeah.
I mean I don't expect that you're going to be watching The Hunt for Red October anytime soon. So
I don't even know what that one's about.
it's a Cold War movie with Sean Connery and Alec Baldwin and
Okay.
a silent submarine and a rogue captain from the Soviet Union.
Okay, yeah, probably not.
There you go. Yeah.
Not that I'm judging. That's
No,
just
no, no. There's no, I don't feel judged and I don't judge
okay,
you. Yeah,
good.
yeah, no, I feel no judgment. Yeah. We don't
Okay,
have to have everything in common.
good. Yeah. Yeah, I always want to make sure that when like I I don't I'm not necessarily like a fan of something somebody else is. I always want to make sure they know I'm not trying to say anything bad about that thing that they love. I'm just personally not a fan of it, but I love that they love it.
I love how much you care about how people feel that you would go the extra mile to think about their feelings as you express your opinions. That's nice. I wish more people did that.
Oh, thank you. um, so what genre of movie would your life story be told as?
Sci-fi or fantasy like adventure, something ridiculous.
Yeah, I like that. Yeah,
Yeah.
I always say I want mine to be a rom-com, and it would probably be a dark comedy. Because my family and I joke about things and laugh about things that we know we probably shouldn't, but we have such a warped sense of humor. um,
It's super healthy. You know, it's hard to be sad and it's hard to be angry when you're laughing.
yeah.
And it's something I've learned from people who do difficult things. Like one of my friends is a former Navy SEAL, and it's a difficult job and it's a stressful job. And he would say one of the most important things to help you do that job is the ability to laugh, the ability to make jokes, the sense of humor. And even, as you said, sort of that dark humor, you know, that in difficult times where people should be serious and should be sad and should be angry or whatever these, you know, whatever it is, that somebody can find the humor in all of it is it's very healing, as you know.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. Um, so what, no matter how many times you see it, always takes your breath away?
You know, the thing that popped into my head, which is a weird answer, but it's the Empire State Building. You know, I lived in New York for over 20 years, and sometimes I would see that building on a perfect night with the most incredible sunset or a perfect blue sky with one cloud behind it. And I would take pictures of it like I was a tourist. And it wasn't, I just remember so many times living in that city. I've seen that building thousands of times. And yet there would be moments that I would just stop and stare at it and lift up my phone and take pictures. And if anybody didn't know me, they would think I was a tourist. They think it was the first time I ever saw it. So I like, but when I go to London, I still take pictures of Big Ben. It's just, I think these iconic images of these magical places, I still have deep appreciation for these things, even if I've seen them, hundreds or
Yeah.
thousands of times.
Yeah. Oh, I love that. Yeah. So if you had the opportunity to put a message on a billboard for everyone to see, what would that message be?
Oh my God, your questions are so good.
Thank
Um,
you.
I would probably write, inspire someone today.
Yeah, I love that.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Or I would just write smile.
yeah.
I would say smile, period. Okay, now go on with your day.
I love that. I love those. Yeah. Yeah, there's this one line from a show that I love that has always stuck with me, that it's a show called A Million Little Things, and there's in one of the episodes in the first season, one of the characters just simply says love each other,
Mm,
and that has just always stuck with me. I just love that. Uh, so
it's a good
I think
message.
yeah, I think I want to see a billboard with that message on it.
I'd like to see people do it.
Yeah, yeah. Um, so I love inspiring and motivational quotes. And this week, my favorite quotation is by Dane Thomas. And it says, the truth is, you were designed to be different on purpose, for the world needs someone who makes ripples of change and less people who let the water lie calmly while life passes them by. Is there a quotation that has inspired you lately?
That's a good one. One of my favorite quotes was by, I think it's Henry Ford, and he said, "If you think you can or you think you can't, you're right."
I like that one.
Yeah, I think it speaks to our mindset, right? And limiting
Yeah,
beliefs.
definitely. I really like that one.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's a good one.
yeah, it is. Well, that was my final question for you. I have just had the best time talking with you, so thank you so much.
Thank you, Maya. I have to say, I've done a lot of interviews, and your questions are some of the best, most original questions I've ever heard. I didn't have the answers because, usually I get asked the same questions over and over again. And I thank you so much for taking time to come up with really such good and thoughtful questions. I really appreciate it and really enjoyed talking to you. Thanks for having me.
Thank you so much. I'm so happy. Yeah, I that's always my goal, to ask people things I've never heard before.
Well,
Uh,
mission accomplished.
yeah. Yeah, so thank you so much. I so appreciate your taking the time today, and I hope you have a great rest of your day.
Thanks, Maya. Take care of yourself and take care of each other.
Thank you. And that's a wrap on today's edition of The Latest with Maya.